Roundtable, I had always called my partner and friend Aisha and the Turquoise Harmony, and I asked them to please host us. So I really want to thank you. As you know, it's lockdown. Women's Day was on Monday, so it was really difficult from Friday to Monday to organize anything, but here we are, and I'm so grateful for that. So I want to give you the opportunity to do the welcome since we're in your
Hope I can get my voice here. Nowadays, even in a Zoom meeting, I just check my mask if it's on because it's just as close as my laptop to me. Welcome all. Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to have you all because now it's almost 1.5 years since we haven't had any contact programs like that. Normally in this hall here we have lovely events like movie night, coffee night, panel discussion on any topic, and we have lots beautiful interfaith series about the common issues that South Africa has. And by bringing different people together, we are trying to solve those problems with the opinions from lots of different people. So, as Turquoise Harmony Institute, we want to welcome you. Hope you will enjoy this night. And as Turquoise Harmony Institute, we love to use any opportunity to make people come together because it's an institute established in 2006 for the purpose of promoting social cohesion among different backgrounds. So regarding this, we have events, as I told you before, and we have some projects, that's ongoing projects. And we still carry on all the lovely hard times instead of COVID. And for example, we have language classes for refugee women. And after the lockdown, we started to have them through WhatsApp. So 12 weeks of language classes and then skill development classes, and we provide them also workshops how to manage their financial, how to manage their money and how to start their businesses, etc. And we also have concert for refugees annually. It's going to happen again in the same time of the year, which is 10 December, which is Human Rights Day. And we are very grateful with lots of different artists who take part in the concert to help us raise awareness about the plight of refugees. And we have different, again, projects, educational projects, social cohesion project competition among high school learners, and also concert for refugees were awarded in the United States by the UNGA conference in the SDGs, Pioneers in SDGs award. And also with the language classes, we got the 3rd place again in the same competition last year. So I warmly welcome you. Hope you will enjoy tonight. And I really want to thank you, Kim, for being here tonight. I'm sure we have lots of things to learn from you. And as always, with those two.
Thank you, thank you. So Kim, I wanted Auntie Liz and Peter Biso to tell us a little bit about what people are doing locally before you come in. Is that okay? Okay. So, and thank you. Auntie Liz comes to sit with us on the green couch. On the green couch. And please tell everybody about the wonderful work that you do. I've known Auntie Liz since 1993. I know we look very young. We are, as you can see, especially Auntie Liz. We look back 1993, this was before our democratic elections. This was 1993 when we were drawing up the South African Children's Charter. So Auntie Liz and I used to travel around the length and breadth of the 4 provinces, remember? We only had 4 provinces. And we would go into communities and train young people about their rights, children's rights. And a lot of the teachers got very annoyed at us and said, why are you teaching these children about rights? They must sit down and keep quiet. That's what children should do. Children should be seen and not heard. And so we used to have these long conversations. But basically what was so impressive with the work that Auntie Liz does, which is in the visual arts space. And she basically taught young people drawing and art. And there was a time when we were working in Diepsloot, in a community there that was really struggling with HIV and AIDS. And we then decided that we would do, the young people wanted it as part of the Sustainable Development Goals. They wanted a garden. And we were like, my goodness, a garden, there's such an issue around water. I was like, just to get water for your home, now you want a garden as well. But the amazing thing was that the young people decided what they wanted. They cleaned up the space. They started their own garden. And then they went to paint the homes. And that's why Auntie Liz was involved, because she would do the sponge painting. These are people, and I don't like to use the word shack because it's somebody's home. So these are their homes that they were painting, and all grown-up men were like, no, we don't want you, go away. And then when they saw the work that Liz did with the children, they were like, please, please, please. And before we finished, we had painted the homes of that entire community. So I want to thank you, Auntie Liz, because the work that you're doing now, Auntie Liz does outreach into prisons, and she's teaching art in a prison community of mainly hardened criminal men, grown-up men, that Auntie Liz goes in and works with these men, and it's really a form of, she'll talk much more than me about what that interaction is, and then over there on the table, you'll have an opportunity to have a look at the art. So welcome, Auntie Liz.
And I'll pull it down. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to say. I've been an art teacher all my life, and in my adult life, and in school, matric, Cambridge, British level kids, and now I'm retired. So anything with art related influences me. And this man phoned my home and wanted to get hold of my husband, actually, because he was interested in the Rotary. My husband was a member of Rotary, it's an organization. And this man phoned, but he got me on the phone. And I said to him, well, who are you? What you're doing? And he says, no, he's a prisoner at the corporate. And he's been painted all his life. And self-taught and so on. And he's been in prison for 26 years. He was imprisoned for 90 years, and he has worked 26 of them. And at the moment, I'm trying to get to the bottom of why he isn't being let out after all this period. He was sentenced during the apartheid time, and there seems to be such a discrepancy about what's happened. Yes, he did bad things, sure, but he's served his time. Anyway, he and I made a pact, and I said, well, can I visit you at the prison? And he said, yes, you have to come on visiting day. I'm allowed a visitor. He was in maximum security at the time. He was allowed one visitor per every 2 weeks or something like that. So I went along and visited with him, and he brought me some of his work to show me. And then I started to speak to the warders and said, can I teach? Can I come and teach these guys? And they said, yeah. So, that would be a nice idea, kind of thing. And from there, I started teaching a whole group of them. Now, the prison has no facilities for a teaching on this level at all. We use a room that is utilized for church services and praying and anything you like, kind of thing. And it's got high windows, very little light, and no desks or anything like that. But we managed. And I don't represent an organization. I'm simply on my own. And I take the supplies to them because, of course, the prison doesn't supply anything. So I would get a group together, or they would organize a group. And Alfred, the man who contacted me originally, is in this piece that I put together. He would get interested people together, and then we would start off drawing and then eventually work into painting. Now, I'm recent, before COVID, I've been doing this for 5 years. Before COVID, I was teaching at maximum, but then I moved to, oh, thank you. Then I moved to medium, and Leopold Prison is huge. There are different sections. And I work at medium B with a group of men and all men. And we have a cohesive group. At first, I think they came wondering, what this white woman was talking about, because many of them haven't had anything in their lives, haven't had certainly not creative stuff. And then they came to me and they realized that actually this was fucked up. We worked for 3 hours once a week, sometimes twice a week, and just talked and worked. And the way I do it is that there's no criticism, there's no level, because the people I teach are all from different societies, different levels of education. So it's actually quite hard to set a project. And but you get into the process eventually, and there's no judgment, there's no marking in terms of A's and B's and things like that. So they begin to settle down and be comfortable, because they know that this is something they can do for 3 hours, and it's just nice. They explore color, and what I also do is bring in a little bit of history, because teaching is, I'm an inveterate teacher, so what can I do? And so I bring in things like, and you'll see with the work over there, I bring in things like Van Gogh, and I tell a little bit about him and so on. And then the students paint in the method of Van Gogh, so that they understand the kind of painting, the kind of brush work, the kind of color he used. And then we did impressionism, and then they'd make a painting similar, and looking at pictures that I brought them and so on. And then I took some photographs of the actual prison outside. There's some beautiful trees out there, and then I developed those and gave them to the guys, and then they painted the trees. Because of course we're not allowed out there, so I had to bring the outside into them. And then the one project we did was Picasso. Now, most people have heard about Picasso, but they don't really understand it, and they don't really know what the guy was about. And we did a whole project on that. I think I've got one work, and their interest and commitment is wonderful, and I've missed them terribly these last 2 years. And I have been in contact with them, because some of them have got phones. They're not allowed to have phones, but never mind. And we stay in contact that way. And they work, and they'll make a painting or drawing or whatever, and they'll take a photograph and they'll send it to me. And then I talk them through it and say, why don't you do this, or think about that? So we've had constant contact through a couple of the guys, and then they tell the others, ma'am says X, Y, Z. And so what they want is a certificate. Am I going too long?
No, you can wind up.
What they want is a certificate, because it's terribly important when they get to the parole board that they have participated in various things, whether it be church groups or anti-anger, anger management, etc. And the painting, I always put a certificate together when I was teaching them, and they got their certificate, and they usually got a prize as a book or whatever. And so, of course, these last 2 years I haven't been able to, and I don't really know what they're doing. I haven't seen their work that much. Some of them I have, but what I decided to do was set them an exam. The ones who have continued working under very difficult circumstances. And I'm going to set them an exam very, very like the British method, Cambridge method. And I'll set the exam for them, and I will invigilate or with a member, and then mark it. And then subsequently, I'm able to give them certificates, all of them, whether they are great or they're just ordinary or whatever it is. I'll grade the certificates a little bit, and so that they can be acknowledged for the fact that they have done something here. And it's it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens. So I'm busy organizing that at the moment. And there are a couple of these, if anybody's interested, which just gives a little bit of history. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Liz. Wow. Well done. And the artwork is over there, so when we break, we'll allow you to go. Thank you, Auntie Liz. Can I ask you, Mum, to come tell us what you do?
Someone should take her camera and go to live stream.
Let's give it to Artizen. Artizen? So this is our wonderful Do Not Wear. If you don't know who Do Not Wear is, then you are not from here. So I would rather you hide under a chair.
But I'm from here.
And she's from here, she knows. So I think, you know, when I go back to this history of Auntie Liz, I think the history of Do Not Wear as an artist in this country goes way back when we were all youngsters, and we used to see this wonderful woman who performed in every kind of performance, whether it was theater, whether it was singing, whether it was with children, whether it was cabaret. And we are so proud of you, and you are such an amazing artist. And now you've also grown into, which you've always done, was work with young people. So I'd like you to talk about the work you do, because I think that works a lot with what the Artizen group wants to do and the outreach that is happening at the moment. But do you need me to put this on us? Okay. I've been holding this because of the sound, but they don't seem to need it. So welcome, Matt.
Thank you. Oh, wow, what an introduction. Okay. Can you hear me with the, okay. Currently, what we've decided to do as a family and as artists is to just open up Amajiga again. Amajiga is a program that was started by a family of artists, which is my family. It was mom and dad. They're late now, and 3 siblings are left, you know, and we don't have a big family because they were orphans when they met, so they don't even know who is who where. So it's just us left, and we felt very strongly that we have to carry over the legacy, because we believe in the ancestral ways that everything that runs in your blood, there's a reason from source that the work should be done. So if we don't carry it over, then we are like disturbing the creator, basically. And also we are disappointing the Amatonga and Amadlozi, you know. Explain one day what that means. Amatonga and Amadlozi. So, and I'm starting with that because it's that insight that when you feel it, it's actually them whispering, saying, remember, you know. So I'm so glad that we're here together, and we come from different backgrounds, and we all came from parents who had their parents and their parents and their parents. So we all came here with a mission. So I realized that when we opened Amajiga, I had decided that I was going to give up my house to the community because I don't live there. I was renting it out. But I thought, okay, if I need space and I don't have to ask or rent any space, I have to give up my house. So from September, I didn't take any tenants. And then this year, COVID hit and I didn't know what to do. But you know, miracles happen. Something came up to cover up at least 6 months of the bond. So I started Amajiga very strongly at the beginning of the year. And it's so amazing that you can see that the communities need art. We can't survive without the arts. And why I'm saying that is because kids just come and they even wait at the gate if we haven't opened, you know? And this time we only run on Saturdays because we don't have funding yet. We haven't applied to the government. But we set the program as if there is funding, you know? And for some reason it happens that everyone will say, I'm gonna budget for this, I'm gonna budget for that, you know? And things happen. So we prepare them for a certain goal. Like now we're working towards a musical. The musical is called Joy. Just so we remember that we depend on what's happening inside to live good lives. So, but for them, we don't talk to them like with the philosophy or religion or anything. We just speak about a human being, that it's better if you're feeling happy, you know? So let's work towards the joy. So the kind of dances that come in, it's all genres, traditional and township dances and contemporary and this and that. The songs, there's everything that you need in a musical theater piece. So which I would like for you to come and have a look, because I think your contribution will be huge. And it happened that there were teachers that were coming from overseas, going through Zoom. Some of them are teaching the arts, the dance, some of them are giving meditation classes, some of them are just talking to them, even the alumni, the previous Amajigas. There's about 4 generations of Amajiga. The first generation was in Sarafina, which was the concept that was born from my family. And so some of them are coming back now to give back, which is beautiful. And when they motivate them and they encourage them also to carry on with the arts, because it's needed. Every family must have some kind of art, you know. And I was happy when Angeline was talking about the work that she's doing with the people out there. It's a pity we're not doing it for the 2 years. I'm going to ask you privately why not, you know? Because I'm glad also Artizen is here to wake us up, you know, to wake us up to that. And in the car coming here in the Uber, I wrote some questions that came to mind, that if there's a time to talk about, you know, just to get what are we doing? What are we trying to get back? What do we want the people to get? What is the need out there? If they were like that, I was writing without my glasses. So, and then if I don't get a chance, I'll do it in the group. Yeah. So that is Amajiga. They're always live on Facebook every Saturday from 1 until 5. And sometimes if we're teaching them management, they are live so that you can see what we're correcting about management, collaboration, and all that. But they start with the arts from 1 until 5 o'clock. It's only on Saturdays for now, and then it's going to be every day once we get fun. And I think
Thank you.
Yes,
Will you please, somebody?
I'm gonna be recording. We've got Swari. He's going to Swari.
So this is a young group. I don't know those young men.
I think it's really
Yes,
Oh, you saw me.
he saw you.
These are young people, animators and working in new technology, gaming, and apps design. So welcome. Thank you for coming to the Artizen Roundtable. Very important. Please tell us.
okay. I'll first start by introducing myself. My name is Twari. Full name
want
is
to talk?
Twari. Shall I take it off?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Welcome.
So like I said, my name is Twari. Full name is Twari. I'm creative director at Turquoise Studios, and basically who we are, we're a group of animators basically who are multifaceted in our disciplines as far as creating stories and so forth is concerned, creating content for corporate companies. But as Madame had just mentioned, we're also into gaming, some people on site with us and developing games with them and so forth. So we are an animation company that is very edgy, very current, and we speak to the current, more youthful demographic of young people within the country and Africa at large, right? So right now, one of the things that we have been busy with to kind of like expand on this whole idea of the locality and communicating to the locality people in the diaspora of South Africa is that we are looking to communicate authentically African stories. And there's a reason why I say that, authentically African stories, because I think for the most part in the world today, the way that the African narrative is communicated is very, dare I say, blank. And I'll give you a practical example. Say you have a color wheel, right? And this color wheel has your reds, has your blues, has your purples, pinks, etc., etc. And all of these colors have their own uniqueness. And we all have a favorite color. Well, I assume we do. And we have reasons for why we like them. What's interesting is that when you take all of those colors and you mix them together, you get a blend of brown. That's very important because today we are told about the melting pot of this African continent. And for me, I'm of the opinion that the melting pot does not necessarily do us very much good in communicating who we are authentically. And I'll give a practical example and, to kind of like paint a picture of that. So Marvel now recently put out a movie called Black Panther. Not too, the second one that's coming. Now, mind you, I'm not marking it or taking something at all. It was a brilliant movie that they put out. But at the same time, it did not necessarily communicate the stories within the African continent that we have as individuals. In South Africa alone, we have 11 different languages, right? We have more cultures than languages. When you go up north, say you're Zambia, for example, they have about 10 to 23 different languages and cultures, which I look at that and it's like, when do we begin to communicate the stories of each of these cultures for what they truly are? When do we start talking about the stories that these people have? What are some of the differences between all of them? What are some of the nuances that make them, special from one another, so forth and so on. And that is where we are now beginning to spearhead our movement as an animation business. Okay? As opposed to just throwing out this African term out there, like African supposedly means. For example, I studied interior architecture, just by the way. And whenever people would talk about, create an African interior, usually what you'd see is just a lot of brown. You see a lot of brown, see stuffed animal heads and so forth. Your African masks from the Congolese and forget that like other countries the origin is from. But you have that, and that's supposed to mean African, right? But while there is some Africanness to it, it does us a disservice in that what then happens to the rich stories that we have as Africans in the continent, with all of our varying differences that makes
It wasn't you, Aisha. So, yeah, so I'm trying to text Kim or somebody. If you know anybody there, can you let them know? But Sister Fados, but I'll text Kim as well. Thanks.
I'll send Firdaus a message now.
Okay. Don't know what's going on, everybody. So just keep holding. Hopefully, Kim will come back. So I know it's a few people in the chat room. So stand by. We'll hope to get back on soon.
Okay, I've sent Firdaus a message, but she doesn't appear to be picking it up, so I'm not
Right.
sure.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, Aisha. We may have someone. We may have someone's phone. I don't. Is that you, Seppo? Is that you, Aisha, or is that maybe
It's
somebody?
me.
Hello.
Hi.
Just need your video, Seppo.
Suga. Suga.
Oh, well, I don't think
Hello.
she. Hi,
Hi.
Seppo.
Hello.
Hi.
We're still
Hello.
waiting. Still waiting to get back on, but we don't know what's going on. So
We lost audio and then video about 20 minutes ago.
Mm.
I
yeah,
just sent Firdaus a message saying I was going to leave because it doesn't look like it's coming back.
right. Well, I don't know what else to do. I mean,
Yeah, sure. I know it's not your fault, but
but,
they're not actually. Well, Firdaus isn't responding, and somebody here on the chat has said he's texted Kim as well, and obviously she's not responding either. So just doesn't look good. I'll wait another 5 minutes or so, but I've been training all day, so I'm really exhausted.
right. Okay. I'm trying to call now. Just wanted to try one more time, but I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on, but oh gosh. So I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna end this. So,
Okay, thank you.
all right. Sorry. Bye.